All right, friends, here in the Cornerstone Library, thinking of you all, missing you. We are going to look at a book. Happy birthday, Martin Luther King. Next Monday is a holiday in honor of his birthday. And after reading our book, you'll know a little bit more about why we celebrate and honor him. All right. Happy Birthday, Martin Luther King by Jean Marzolo. Martin Luther King Jr. was born on January 15, 1929, in Atlanta, Georgia. His parents loved him very much. Martin Luther King had the same name as his father, except for one thing. His father was called Martin Luther King Sr. Martin was called Martin Luther King Jr. Martin went to elementary school, high school, and college in Atlanta. He was a good student. Later, he went to divinity school in Pennsylvania, a type of religious school. Martin became a pastor, just like his dad, at the Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta. They were both called Reverend. The Reverend Martin Luther King Sr. and the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. Martin's job as a minister was to help people in need. He visited sick people in the hospital and made them feel better. He asked people not to fight with each other. He said there were peaceful ways to solve problems. And like his father, Martin led people in prayer and song. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. is famous because he helped our country change some of its laws. A law is like a rule. Once there was a law that in some places that said only white people could sit in the front of the bus and that black people had to sit in the back. Martin Luther King said that this law needed to be changed. Rosa Parks and other people helped him change it. Now all people can sit in any empty seat they like. Once there were laws in some places that said African Americans could only use certain restaurants and drinking fountains. Martin Luther King and many other people helped change these laws. Now all people can share the same restaurants and drinking fountains. Once there was a law in some places that said black children and white children couldn't go to school together. Martin Luther King and other people, including many very brave children, had this law changed too. Now black children and white children can go to school together. Children of all colors and races can. Martin Luther King had a special talent for leadership. When he spoke, people listened. Poor people, rich people, white people, black people, and people from all around the world listened when Martin Luther King spoke. Many helped him work, march, sing, and pray for justice. In the summer of 1963, Martin Luther King Jr. gave the most famous speech of his life. He gave it outdoors to 250,000 people who had come to Washington, D.C. to ask the president for jobs and freedom for black people. So Washington Monument. In his speech, Martin Luther King said that he had a dream. His dream was that people everywhere would learn to live together without being mean to one another. Martin Luther King Jr. was shot and killed in 1968. Because he loved poor people so much, he was given a special funeral in Atlanta, Georgia, where he was born. His body was put in a simple farm cart and pulled slowly by 2 mules to a cemetery. Thousands of people walked behind Martin in a sad, loving parade. On his gravestone were carved these beautiful words: "Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, I'm free at last." Martin Luther King wanted people to be able to go places together, share food together, and love one another in peace. Because he worked so hard for freedom and helped so many people gain it, we honor him every year on his special day. We call this Martin Luther King Day, and we say to him, "Happy birthday, Martin Luther King." Happy birthday, Martin Luther King. All right, friends, that is our book about Martin Luther King Jr. He believed that you did not need violence to bring about change. He followed the beliefs of Mahatma Gandhi from India and believed that people could talk about their differences and peacefully find a way to get along. And many people listened to him and brought about a lot of change. We have him to thank for that. And it's unfortunate that he was killed by someone who didn't agree with him. Of course, that is not a way to resolve a problem or someone you don't agree with. But I hope you learned a little bit about Martin Luther King Jr. today.